Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Superman Year 1, issue number 2 of 3. I went with the funniest looking cover. Look, this was actually a really good book, but not for Superman. I'm going to get into that in a little while. First, let's actually give credit where credit is due. This was a pretty good book, I gotta admit. So we got story and art by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr., Danny Mickey does the inks, and the colors are done by Alex Sinclair. The letters, John Workman. The cover, John Romita Jr. with Danny Mickey and Alex Sinclair. And Frank Miller with Alex Sinclair does the variant cover. All right, and of course, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster deserve all the credit for making this incredible character we call Superman. So, Superman has joined the Navy, and he's, of course, better than everybody by a long shot. And even when he tries not to show off, he's totally showing off, man. I'm just saying. So he's, I don't know, running around and beating up people. And at one point, he sees a bunch of mermaids. Now, this is actually really cool because this is an old story that I wasn't actually even familiar with. This is Superman number 129 or something like that. I looked it up really quick because they gave a name, Lori Lamaris. Very, very unbelievably freaking cool. Great callback to an old school character, not on the top of anybody's mind, and yet he totally brings it out. Now, while he does that, he also gives Superman the ability to breathe underwater. Cute. Cute. So this is clearly the old school Superman who, quite literally, if he needs a power, you just give him the power. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out later. He's Superman. He can do anything. I'm actually not even ultimately bothered by that. I don't care about the science of it. None of that stuff concerns me. It's Superman. But it's still kind of weird. Let me tell you why. I think, look, at the end of the day, this comic book worked really well. Just not for him. Let's be realistic. If this whole thing, everything that happened in just this one issue, if everything that happened in this were stretched out to be more inclusive, to be a much bigger story, a more grandiose story, so everything was like this one issue, could we have just called it Aquaman Year 1? Because this comic book was a really good comic book, just not for Superman. This would have made a great Aquaman Year 1. This could have been expanded more so that all of a sudden he's attacked by Zebel, and we go into the whole conversation there, and then he meets Mera, and yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He meets up with Hyde for the first time, Black Manta. You know what I'm saying? Like, just all that good stuff. We have all of this. This would have been a better Aquaman Year 1 story. I don't see a single reason to have given Superman, first off, to have put him in the Navy, to have him get booted out of the Navy and yet still get an honorable discharge as opposed to an other than honorable. I mean, there are like 6 or 8 different versions of a discharge you can get, and they went with the highest one, but let the record show that you were asked to leave. Well, then why an honorable? Like, that's just going to create more questions. So that just doesn't make any kind of sense. None of that makes any sense, and I don't really even care. But why put him in the Navy? Why give him the ability to breathe underwater? Why have him go on this undersea adventure just for this one character that, let's be realistic, pretty much nobody remembers? It's a weird one, man. Like, this just raises more questions than anything else. I'm telling you right now, if you would have put Aquaman in the Navy and had him just be, well, he's so much stronger than everybody else. So he's actually got a really good aim. Hey, he got lost under the water and he was able to see just fine. And he's able to swim really well. He could stay down there better than anybody. The cold doesn't bother him as much as anybody. All of that stuff, it would have made more sense. Maybe he could be the one who meets Lori Lamari as opposed to Superman in this particular one. Or there could be the mention that, I've seen another super character like you. Just something. If something like that would have happened, I'm telling you right now, I would have probably loved this. Granted, John Romita Jr. is still on this. So, but hey, I got through the first 6 issues of however many issues it was of Silencer. You know what I'm saying? Until they finally replaced him with somebody good. So I'm just saying, there's going to be somebody on here who's just like, John Romita Jr. is the greatest thing happened to comic books. And listen, I will fight you and all 2 of the people on the face of the planet who agree with you. I have no problems with that. I'm not scared. My army's bigger than yours. The point is, even though the art in this comic book was effing atrocious, I still really liked this book. Again, just not for Superman. Anyway, guys, that's Superman Year 1, issue number 2. I like the back. That's pretty cool. Purple one in the other cover. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.